mentioned before, I always say a prayer before I come up here because these are important things that we talk about here. And I have a tendency to be a bit flippant. I like to make a joke here and there and say something quick, and it's fine if I'm just goofing around with some friends, but my last song, give me the Bible, holy message shining, thy light shall guide me in the narrow way. And I'm going to go into the Bible quite a bit today. Not for very long, so don't get nervous on me. But in Boston, when they first came to Boston, they would have 6-hour sermons, so I'm not going to do anything like that. I lost my page here. We'll talk about wisdom a little this morning. I know I've touched on this before, but wisdom is a tough nut to crack. It's much worse even than Brazil nuts, if you had an experience with those during the Thanksgiving. I didn't see any this year, but I remember when I was a kid, I really liked those. And I'd sit there for half an hour trying to grab, because there was something really good inside. I still like them. I don't buy them too often. So wisdom. Why do we want and need, let's say need, to search for wisdom? We, the church, must seek wisdom. Sometimes I feel like I made a wise choice to avoid trouble. And how much trouble should be avoided? A little trouble is like the fly in the ointment. Well, I made all this ointment with all these special ingredients, and look, there's a fly in it, not so good. That's just a little thing in there. I made a big bat of it. Spoiled it with something that doesn't belong there. And that's what it's like when we sin. Myself, sometimes I felt like I was a fly with a little touch of ointment behind my ear, or neurotic way, or whatever it's called. And I was way off. I know I used to be. And I was striving to be more than that, because the Lord demands that from us as Christians, that we learn His Word and live His Word. Read first out of the book of Proverbs 1. And these are the Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, judgment, and equity, to give prudence to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and increase learning, and a man of understanding will attain wise counsel. To understand a proverb and an enigma, the words of the wise and their riddles. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. I like the fear of the Lord is reverence for the Lord, understanding who He is. We don't fear Him like we want to run away from Him, but we fear Him because we don't want to do the wrong thing. And we're going to stick with Solomon in another book. That is the book he wrote, Ecclesiastes. And I'm going to do this for a few times when I come up here, because Ecclesiastes is also a tough nut to crack. It was called by someone in the Bible study we did over a series on Sunday nights a while back, like getting an ice cream headache. But you can't swallow it all at once, and that's how you get your ice cream headache. You take the whole, everything right down to the cone first bite, and you say, whoa, that's too much at once. So we'll do this in bits. It also gives me an assignment so I can keep up with it as long as we're waiting for Cleve to show up. This book comes later in Solomon's life, and he's looking back on his long life. So imagine he's an old fellow. He's had quite a life. He's had a life like nobody else because he's the wisest human that we know of. Of course, Jesus is even wiser, but he wasn't just human. He's also the Son of God. So here's Solomon looking back. And this doesn't start out too cheery either. But if you read all the way to the end, the end of a matter is better than the beginning of a matter. So keep coming back so you'll hear, right, as I do these every few weeks or so. The words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. And he says, and this word, I like at the bottom here, it gives a little, this word is mentioned a lot, vanity. Vanity is absurdity, frustration, futility, and nonsense. And here's what he says, vanity of vanities, says the preacher. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. What profit has a man from all his labor in which he toils under the sun? One generation passes away, and another generation comes, but the earth abides forever. The sun also rises, and the sun goes down and hastens to the place where it arose. The wind goes toward the south and turns around to the north. The wind whirls about continually and comes again on its circuit. All the rivers run into the sea. The sea is not full. To the place from which the rivers come, there they return again. Water is recycled automatically. It's already set up in the system. This is how it happens, but he somehow understood that. This is about 3,000 years ago, folks. All things are full of labor. Man cannot express it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. It just came to mind, everybody looking in their computers and their phones, not satisfied with seeing. More. The ear is not filled with hearing. More. And that's we can act like. That which has been is what will be. That which is done is what will be done. And there is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which it may be said, see, this is new? It has already been in ancient times before us. There is no remembrance of former things, nor will there be any remembrance of things that are to come, but by those who will come after. I, the preacher, was king over Israel and Jerusalem, and I set my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all that is done under heaven. This burdensome task God has given to the sons of man, by which they may be exercised. I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and indeed all is vanity, and grasping for the wind. What is crooked cannot be made straight, and what is lacking cannot be numbered. I communed with my heart, saying, look, I have attained greatness, and have gained more wisdom than all who were before me in Jerusalem. My heart has understood great wisdom and knowledge, and I set my heart to know wisdom, and to know madness and folly. I perceived that this also is grasping for the wind. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he who increases knowledge increases sorrow. How does that fit in with us needing to search out wisdom? So, do we want to find wisdom? Yes. But what does that give us when we can see our own sin and we come to Christ and we want to change who we are and who we've been? Then you see other people that haven't done that, and it can be a great sorrow. want them. Come on with us, you know. We've seen who the Lord is through Christ, and we want you to have that too. Because staying away from that's not wisdom at all. You want to continue here? Chapter 2. Here's Solomon again. I said in my heart, he says, come now, I will test you with mirth. Therefore enjoy pleasure, but surely this was also vanity. I said of laughter, madness, and of mirth, what does it accomplish? I searched in my heart how to gratify my flesh with wine while guiding my heart with wisdom, and how to lay hold on folly, till I might see what was good for the sons of men to do under heaven all the days of their lives. I made my works great. I built myself houses and planted myself vineyards. I made myself gardens and orchards, and I planted all kinds of fruit trees in them. I made myself water pools from which to water the growing trees of the grove. I acquired male and female servants and had servants born in my house. Yes, I had greater possessions of herds and flocks than all who were in Jerusalem before me. I also gathered for myself silver and gold and the special treasures of kings and of the provinces. I acquired male and female singers, the delights of the sons of men, and musical instruments of all kinds. So I became great and excelled more than all who were before me in Jerusalem. My wisdom remained with me. Whatever my eyes desired, I did not keep from them. I did not withhold my heart from any pleasure, for my heart rejoiced in all my labor, and this was my reward from all my labor. Then I looked on all the works that my hands had done, and on the labor in which I had toiled. And indeed, all was vanity and grasping for the wind. There was no profit under the sun. It's kind of sad, isn't it? What he wants is more. All the things that he could acquire in that time, he gained. And he gained it by his own efforts, too. Because he knew it took effort to get all these things, and it came from nothing, really. It comes to vanity. And it is sad, but we're not here to build up our riches and to build, I think, if you notice during that reading, I made myself this, and I made this for myself, and I do all these things for myself. And what's it worth? And besides, it'll go away anyway. It's not eternal. And that's what he finds that he should have been seeking. Continue a little bit longer. Early, and that's all right. Let's see what the end of the wise and the fool is. Then I turned myself to consider wisdom and madness and folly. For what can the man do who succeeds the king? Only what he has already done. Then I saw that wisdom excels folly, as light excels darkness. The wise man's eyes are in his head. The fool walks in darkness. Yet I myself perceived that the same event happened. So I said in my heart, as it happens to the fool, it also happens to me. And why was I then more wise? Why did I bother saying? Then I said in my heart, this also is vanity, for there is no more remembrance of the wise than of the fool forever, since all that now is will be forgotten in the days to come. And how does a wise man die? As the fool. It seems like a lesson against being wise, doesn't it? Almost. Why did I even bother with being wise? Well, if you start with what we started with here, which is to be fearful of the Lord, that's the beginning of wisdom. It's not the end of wisdom. We're not going to be perfect. We're not expected to turn perfect. But, and these are my own thoughts that if we're not aiming for being perfect, what are you aiming for? We have to, and I have to, say, I got to stop doing this. I got to stop being so quick with my mouth that I'm saying things that even right then, I regret saying, and I want to grab it back, but it's already out there. And I say I'm quick-witted, but I'm also pretty quick at insulting people that bug me. And there's plenty of people out there that seem willing to do that. But really, I'm just making excuses for myself. I'd like to get, and when you write something down, you can edit it later. But I need that editor to self-edit quicker. We're going to continue with, and things do get better eventually for our Solomon. Hop back to Psalm 124:8. It's just that, so you don't really need to turn to it. But how can I learn and grow in being the editor to myself in what I say and what I do too? It's not just things I say. And we know one thing, that our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth. So he made all these things. He made the heavens that we can see. He made heaven that we're going toward. That's going to be better than anything we can imagine. I have a pretty good imagination. I can imagine it's pretty nice, but it's got way better than that. He knows, and we don't. But our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth. And you look at how wonderful the heavens are and how wonderful things can be on earth. And I mean wonderful, like you look at them and you say, wow, how could that be? How can it be that this is? There are so many theories out there of, oh, everything just happened. It just happened extraordinarily well in some ways on this earth, except for sin. And Jesus, in an extraordinary way, has said, I've got that for you. I can take care of that too. Because that's the thing that's wrong. It's not just wrong on the earth, it's wrong in us. So, I don't want to get down, and I don't want you to get downhearted that all is futility, because he's taken even that away. And it's not futility for those who follow his word. Our help is in the name of the